from pixels to code. And we're going to be going from a design that is done in a Vision Studio, and we're just going to put it on Webflow as a landing page. Hopefully we get to do this in 1 hour. It's a full one pager. And then after that, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to create a landing page with illustrations. This is the key part of today. We're going to be using illustrations that I made and that I'm actually going to be launching tomorrow or maybe Thursday. They're called Open Doodles. You can actually go see them right now. OpenDoodles.com. It's not finished, but it's almost there. OpenDoodles.com, and I'm going to be using the illustrations that are there to create a landing page. And I'm going to go from Vision Studio to Webflow. And how? We're going to be using different layouts, just like Flexbox and just like a landing page. I'm going to show you the landing page in a little bit. And then we're going to be getting the source file to follow along. I put a Dropbox link in the description of this video, so you should be able to, if you want to, follow along, or if you want to download it later, you can do that. What else? Yes, and that's it. Thank you so much for being here. This is so nice. I haven't done this in a long time, and now that I'm doing it again, it just feels like home. I love being here, and I love having the audience here live and answering your questions, and hopefully we get to create something awesome. Okay, so let me do a quick review of my audio. So audio, oh my God, I don't understand anything here. Yes, so hopefully the actual audio is going okay. I'm going to open this thing. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to start sharing my screen in a little bit. Okay, so hold on. This whole thing is just like it's a mess. I need a producer, someone that is helping me here and just like clicking at things. Okay, whoa. Okay, we're changing this, and now we are actually going to be starting doing this. So let's first look at our design. This is the design that we're going to be doing. Well, actually, I made a lot of different examples of landing pages, of different sections of landing pages, as you can see here. But the idea here is that on all of them, I'm using illustrations. And these are more like examples of how to use this illustration kit in a website. So here it's just like a beautiful features, and I don't know, like just hopefully to help you tell a story, and even on mobile, like different states and stuff. And here I'm in Vision Studio. You can download this file from the description. There's a link, and one of those files is just the Vision Studio file. This is just a static file. We're going to be using it as a reference when we translate it into HTML and CSS using Webflow. And over here, this is the actual page that we're going to be doing today. So we have a hero page, just a simple image here. Hopefully we get to actually animate these things with scroll-based animations. It's gonna be dope, but that's going to be at the end. Then another section, just using the image, and potentially we are going to put the image on top of the other images. So it's going to be like 3 layers of images. And then another one, hopefully also we do it with 2 layers of images. This is going to be just one, but I'm going to show you how to use an image as a background in this way. And here we could potentially use Grid for this one. So yeah, let's use Grid, a CSS Grid for this. And I think this one is going to be like using the full viewport height and viewport width to create this, and it's just going to be half and half. I think that's going to be that. And just a footer, just a call to action at the end. Very simple. And again, all of this is just we're going to be learning how to turn this into HTML and CSS using a Webflow from Vision Studio. If you use a different design tool, at the end the process is going to be pretty much the same. It's going to be just like a copying, exporting your images, exporting your assets, and just selecting translating all your type sizes and all your spacing from your static design into HTML and CSS. magnificent, my friends. And over here, I just did a really quick style guide of the different styles, different sizes of the different headings, just so we can do it quickly on HTML. And yeah, and over here, you can use these if you want to try, just like use these as other examples that you can play with. And if you want to like challenge yourself to play with this. Let me check the comments just to see if everything's okay. I wish I was there to help you. Illustrations free. Cool. Are there illustrations free? Yes, the illustrations are free for commercial, personal, whatever you want use. So let me actually show you that real quick. This is opendoodles.com. And this is this site. I'm going to launch it tomorrow or maybe Thursday, I don't know. But here you can download the SVGs. Some of these links still don't work. I have to fix that. But then it shows you like different compositions using the images, and then it has an about page. And all of this was created again with these are sketches that I made by hand, and then I vectorized, and then I put on SVG so anyone can use them. And also there's a generator. The generator still doesn't work, but you can see like you can download in different colors the same images. It's pretty cool. Some of these things don't work, so don't criticize, okay? And that's it, and you can download the pack. Again, this is just a work in progress. I'm going to be launching it later, but if you want to, you can inspect it right now. Okay, so we don't need this. Let's go back to this. Let's see if you have any comments again. Yes, I love it. Cool. Illustrations, cool. Okay, so if there's any problem, please put it in the comments. Hopefully there's no problem. We can just keep going. Okay, so let's get started. Let's just the first thing that I'm going to do is just go to Webflow, and I'm going to create a new project. And when you create a new project, you see all of these examples and all of these things. You can actually buy some of these templates, but you're a designer. And you are a creative person. You start from scratch. You select the blank one and you say, let's do this. Project name, I'm going to call it, what should we call it? Doodles site example. Okay, that's what we're calling this. And create a project. When you create a project, just blank. There's nothing there, and it looks a little bit scary, but don't worry, we're going to add some stuff in it. So I'm not going to be explaining each tool what it does in like the UI. Hopefully you have some understanding of this. And just to make it quick, I'm going to be talking while I do things, but not explaining too much and not going too deep. Okay, sorry. If you have questions, just leave them there, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. If you might have an answer to those questions there, so you can have a chat there and answer your own questions. Okay, so let's get started. So we have a section here. We have a hero section. Let's see what we got. We have a hero section that apparently is the size of the viewport, and then we have some stuff, some content, a container in the middle. So let's do that. So I'm going to add first. I'm going to go to plus, add a section. Then let's Command E, and I'm going to add a div block, just so I have more freedom on what I can do with this div block. And then I'm going to add an image. Yeah. And then I'm going to add a heading. So a heading, and then I'm going to add a paragraph text, and then a button. So as you can see, I'm pressing Command E, and this brings this like spotlight thing that you can just like search the stuff that you want, and it helps you be super fast. If you already know what you want, for example, button, you just start typing it, you press enter, and you add it, my friends. So, okay, I have all of my content here. I have my section with a div block, and this div block is going to be containing all of my content here. Why the div block is necessary? Because I want to be able to contain the width of this content, and I want to be able to center it in my big container, the hero section, okay? So I'm going to do this hero section. I'm going to call it hero section. I'm going to create a class for it. And the first thing, I'm going to want to change the height of it to 100 VH. This means 100% viewport height, and that would just like take whatever the size of the viewport of the height, it would just like take it and transform that section into it. Now let's change the width of this div block to hero content. I'm going to call it hero content. Yeah, and then I'm going to call it, what is the size of this? This is around 620. So I'm going to put a maximum width of 620 pixels. 620 pixels, there you go. And then I'm going to go back to my section. I'm going to use Flexbox so I can center it. So here, as you can see, in direction, horizontal is okay. I'm going to center here and center here. Let's see it back. There you go. Now it's center. Let me Command C so you can see it. Center here, and now it's centered. Now I'm going to go back to this little guy, and I actually want to also center the text and the content inside it. So I'm going to use first on typography, center the typography, and it looks like that gives me exactly what I want. I was going to also use Flexbox to center the image, but it looks like with typography align center, it's aligning everything. So I don't need any more CSS on it. That's it. It does the job. We're done. Now let's replace the images. I already exported all the images, but you usually, when you are on your static design tool, you want to export it. So for example, here in Studio, in Vision Studio, you just select it and then you press export and then you export it to PNG, SVG. Since all of these images are vector, I can export to SVG. And that way they're resolution independent and they are going to look crisp anywhere. So it doesn't matter the resolution. You zoom in, the curve is going to be perfect. So I'm going to export to SVG. Again, I already exported. I'm just showing you here how you would do it. This is how you would do it here in Studio. If you're using a different design tool, it should have an export option in any other exporting tool. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to go back to my assets here on Webflow, and I'm going to add all of my assets because I already exported all of these. So I have this little guy and I have a folder that is called assets. By the way, you can download all this stuff too. So you can just download all these assets too. I'm just going to upload them. And look at that. That was fast. See, why was it fast? Because it's SVG, my friends, and SVGs are fast like that. They're not as heavy. That's what I was trying to say. Let's change the image of this to this little guy. There you go. It's already good. Look at that. Let's change the text of this guy. Distinction bias. Distinction bias. Let's change the text of this guy, the content. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but also the text of this stuff, it's just like different biases and different curiosity, things that I find really curious about the human mind and our human behavior, and like different biases of how we behave. It's pretty cool if you ever want to know more about that stuff. I put just like a little description of those things. Distinction bias, and okay, cool, the content is there. I also have a navigation bar. I'm not going to worry about the navigation bar for now. Let's add that later, okay? So we have the content here. Let's start changing the style of this stuff. So let's go back here, and I can see I'm going to be worried more than anything about the size and the line height. Those are the things that I want to be able to translate into Webflow. And before I do that, let me check my comments. Are there any comments? It's more to move on with path illustration style that is in there. Okay, yeah. Oh my God, what spotlight feature is so good. Why div block and not container? Pros, cons. Div block of it if you... Oh man, the streaming is not great, my friends, and I don't know what to do, but let's continue. Okay, so it looks like my streaming is not perfect, my friends, and it's okay. Hopefully it gets better. Welcome to live chat. Yeah. Gotcha. Thank you. That was nice. Let's get illustrations. The name of the site is opendoodles.com. Okay, let's go back to Webflow. So here, Now I want to start putting the style from my static side into this. So I'm going to go back to my style, and it looks like I'm using a size 63, line height 70. So let's do that over here. And I could just start adding that style here, 63, and then line height 70. I could just do that. And that will be fine. It does the job. The thing is here, it creates a new class that is called heading. That Webflow, as soon as you add some styling to anything, it will just create a new class or replace the styling or whatever class you have selected. But I actually here, I want to apply to all my H1s. I don't want to create a new class. I just wanted to apply it to the HTML tag H1. So I'm going to Command C, and I'm going to here on the selector, I'm going to go to all H1 headings. That way, I apply this styling to all H1 headings. So I'm going to go back, what was it, 6370. And now, whenever I add any H1, heading 1, level 1, it will just add that style because it's already in the CSS. There you go. It's because it's being applied at a global level. And let's create a new one. This one is going to be a specific style, so I'm going to call it copy. And this one is called size 20, line 30. So let's go ahead and change this to size 20, line 30. And let's add our new button. So the button here, it looks like it's, let's see the spacing between here, 16, 16 and 56, 56 on the sides. And the size of this is 18 pixels. I think it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to make it 16 pixels. I'm going to be like one of those engineers that doesn't follow the design guidelines. Yes, I'm changing my mind. Okay, I am the designer, so I can change my mind. So I'm going to change this to 16 pixels, and then I'm going to go to the spacing of this, and I think it was 16 on the top, 16 on the bottom, and then I'm going to show you, and it was 56 on the sides. So I'm going to show you this trick. If you press Option and then you drag, then you can change both sides at the same time. I love that because that allows me, although I don't know if I think I actually spend more time like trying to get it with the slider. Sometimes it happens like that. Okay, let's change the background of this. Let's change it to black. That's what I'm using. I'm going to add as a new color, Paps Black. The Paps Black is just black. There you go. There you go. My button is getting there. The call to action is get doodle. So let's just write it out here. And look at that. Also, does it have a corner radius? It looks like it has a corner radius, which is 4 pixels of corner radius. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to change here on borders. Over here, I can change it to 4 pixels, and now I should be able to have 4 pixels of corner radius. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Oh my God. Does it look exactly like over here? Not exactly, because we're using a different typeface. So that's something we're going to do in a little bit, okay? Let's not worry about the actual font family right now. It looks like it's going well. The spacing is already good. I think that the default spacing is working, but let's see what is the spacing that I'm doing here. No, actually it's not. 16 over here. So I'm going to change this to a margin of 16 pixels here, and then over here between these two is only 8 pixels. So it looks like it's 8. I'm going to change it to I'm going to go back to my H1 heading, and I'm going to change this down to only 8 pixels. And there you go. Now it should be pretty much just like the design. We have our hero section. Let's jump to the next one. The next one is going to be a little bit trickier because we have almost the same. We have 2 boxes. Well, we have a container. And then we have 2 boxes. Well, we have 1 box that is containing all of the content, and then I have 2 different boxes inside it, one for my text and one for my images. So we have 1 box, and then another box, and then 2 boxes, and then here potentially more boxes. We'll see how we do this. Okay, so let's go back here to our body. I'm going to add here. I'm going to add another section, and then here in the section I'm going to use a container on this one. The container is fine. I like the pre-style things that Webflow comes with. The container comes with from Webflow. And what else? And now I'm going to add two div blocks. So div block 1, which is going to be the left one, and I'm going to add another div block 2, that is going to be the one with my images. So here in this div block, I have a heading, and then I have another heading, and then I have a paragraph, and then I have a button. Or no, do I not have a button? No, we have a text link. So let's use a text link. There you go. So this is looking good. This is starting to look good. This is look too big. What's going on? Well, we want to change this to H2, and I think I think this one is H2, or is it not? Let's see. Yeah, 35. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, 35 is an H3 actually, and this one should be. So I'm going to keep it H2. I'm going to keep this one H3. And you're going to say, but this one should be smaller, Pablo. Shouldn't it be H3? Well, when you are using a screen reader, you shouldn't be skipping on your HTML structure the level, the heading level. If this one should be read before this one, then this should be H2 and this should be H3, even if the style is different. So even if the style looks like one, the bigger one should be a higher level, but no. My design doesn't really dictate the structure. That's very important to know when you are creating, designing something for accessibility, okay? So, and somebody potentially has a better answer to this, but that's potentially just like the gist of it. So we have our content on the left. Now we have our content on the right, and on the right, we're going to add different images. So we have 3 images. 1, 2, and 3. I already exported them, so I'm going to just add those images here, and I'm going to add them as absolute positioning, and we're going to be seeing how we're going to do that in a moment. But let me add those images first. So image 1 and image 2 and image 3. Okay, so I have my 3 images here. Let's replace those images real quick. The first one is hold on, what's the name of this one? Is feature 1 and feature 2. Yes. So let's do feature 1, and let's do feature 2. Let's change this image, replace it with feature 2, and then let's replace this with the ballet dancer. Where's the ballet dancer? There you go. The ballet dancer is there. We have our 3 images. They look very blocky right now because I haven't done any positioning. So, okay, so let's replace the content of these. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it over here, and I'm doing Command-Shift-V. That way, I don't paste any styling that is coming from InVision Studio, okay? Command-C, and then over here, Command-V, and then this one, it says, go get it now. So I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to say, go get it now, Tiger, go get it now. Okay, so we have our content. Let's change the style of this. And I think this style should be, what is the style of this? This is 18 by 24. So I'm going to change this to 18 and the line height to 24. And I'm going to call this to section header. I'm creating my own new class called section header, and this one should be an H3, which is 3548. So I'm going to go to the HTML tag H3 headings, and I'm going to 3548. I'm going to do that over here, and that way is going to be changed at a global level. 35. So all H3s are going to be having this size now. And then on this one, I'm just going to use the one that I already called copy. There you go. And then this link, I think we're going to be changing the size of all the links to remove the styling, some of the styling, and also change the color. So I'm going to copy this hex code, copy, and then I'm going to paste it over here. I'm applying this to all my links. And I'm going to remove the styling so it doesn't have that underline. And before I continue, let's check the comments. Person simplest plugin, Alex. So Alex Lazar, man, I used to do WordPress with Simplest. I loved it. It was amazing. but it didn't give me the freedom that I wanted. And I can tell Alex, switch to Webflow. You're gonna love it. And as a designer, you're just going to love the ability that this gives you. And apparently, let me pause this. I don't need to be seeing this. Yes. Okay. So that's clear. Anyone else that is I'm just trying to. Okay, cool. So let's continue with our thing. If you have any questions, please answer them. And by the way, someone from support from Webflow is right there, and they might be able to answer some questions regarding Webflow right now. So Pixel Geek, thank you so much for being there. Pixel Geek is from Webflow. He works there, and he's amazing. He does workshops, and he also has a lot of live streams. So you should follow him. His name is Nelson. Okay, cool. So let's go back here. So we have all of our content now. We have our content, but it looks like crap. So let's change that. Let's make it a little bit better, okay? So the first thing I want to do is change the color of this background. So I'm going to change the color of this background of this section. And I'm going to try to use this same section. I call it hero section, but I'm actually going to rename it to be... Yeah, I'm going to call it 100 BH section, okay? And that way I can reuse it. And 100 BH section, there you go. And then I'm going to add a modifier, just like a subclass that is called gray or grayish, I don't know. And then I'm going to change the background. Now it should be the same properties of being able to change its height to 100 vertical height, but I just added a subclass here so I can change the color. So one is gray and one is not. So this one is not making a modification to this one. It's just making it to this one. Okay, cool. So now on my container, I want to do the same. I want to apply Flexbox. So that way, those two sections are side by side. Okay, so I'm going to add Flexbox, and I'm going to say that our line to the center horizontally, and that's it. Right now, this section is so big. Why? Because these images are just taking so much space. But we're going to fix that, my friends. We're going to fix that. Don't worry. And before I do anything, I want to change the position of all these things to be relative. So let me go back here to 100 pH, and I'm going to say the positioning of this is relative. That way is relative to the body. And then I'm going to say that this container is also, the position of it is not static, it's relative. And you're going to be like, why is this important? The thing is that I'm going to be adding some absolute position elements. And if I don't make everything else relative, then my elements are just going to be relative, going to be absolute position, not to the container, but to the body. And that's not something we want, my friends. Okay, so now these images, I'm going to make them absolute positioning. The position, absolute. See, you're starting to see what's happening, right? Now I'm going to be able to just like put them on top of each other. This one is also absolute, and it looks like, oh my God, they disappear. Well, they didn't disappear. The thing is that right now I have to make the container bigger, because the container is just like, well, apparently there's nothing in here because the images are not expanding or making the div block to grow or shrink. So I'm going to add some styling to the div block. And I'm going to say that, number one, it takes 100% of the height. 100% of the height. That should be 1. And then I'm going to say that the width is 50%. It's not doing exactly what I wanted to do. Let's see if this needs to be 100% width. No. This needs to be 50% too. There you go. Now we're starting to see it. Now we're starting to see what's happening. I'm going to say that this container, the height of it is 100%. That way, this guy, see, now I'm going to be able to position these little guys. So the container, the box holding the other box, needed to be tall in order to the other container inside it to also be tall. If the parent is not tall, then the kid inside will not be that tall either. I think. I think that's how it works. Hopefully it does. Okay, so there you go. Now I have my elements just like that. I think I'm ready. I think we're ready, my friends. Let's start doing it. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to position my my first image to be in the bottom right, just like that. And then I'm going to position this image to be on the top right, and I'm going to change the Z index. Well, no, let's see if, what if I do this? There you go. Now it's behind it, because if we go back to our design, it was like this. And then I'm going to select this image, and I'm going to say that this image is in the center. So, pow. So this should be auto, and this should be auto. And it didn't do anything. That's not what I wanted. So, potentially it has to be done with this. Yeah, there you go. It was auto, so it was responding to the positioning, to the layout of the container. Okay, now we have our elements. They're not that great, right? So let's see, what is the height of this? Apparently 648 pixels is the maximum height that we want for this. So let's put it at 648 pixels. Ow! Look at that. Come on, that's pretty cool, right? That has to be pretty cool. So let's rename this, because right now it's a feature ballet. I'm going to call it feature images ballet. And we have, this is pretty dope, my friends. Come on, we let's go back to our design. It looks pretty similar. It looks like I was giving more space to this guy. So actually, let's go back here and let's say that this one, instead of only 50%, let's say that it's covering 60%. There you go. That's looking a little bit better. It's looking a little bit better. And let's make this one 40%. Okay, 40%. There you go. Now we got it. That's what was going on. Now it's, damn, it's pretty good. Let's go back to this. It's looking good. Okay, let's go back to the comments and see what you're doing. Thanks for the bump, Pablo. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's go back to the design. I was just looking if you have any questions. I'm here to answer those questions. If not, Nelson is there too. Nexel Pixel Geek. He's dope. Okay, cool. So we have our section here. Let's see. Apparently I gave it a lot of spacing here, 56 pixels. I don't know if I want that. I actually like it like it is right now. So I'm going to leave it like that, okay? Something that I do want to remove is the spacing between these. So I'm going to say 0 here. And that doesn't do anything. And that's because our H3 headings has a 20 here. So I'm going to say 0 here too. Yo, I said 0 pixels. And now they should be next to each other. There you go. It's starting to look good. We're going to be changing the typeface later, and it's going to look better, okay, my friends? And that's it. Let's jump to the next section. The next section is pretty similar to the one we just made. The only difference is, the main difference is that we changed the, what do I call this? The text is on the right and the image is on the left. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm actually just going to copy paste this. Can you do that? Let's see, Command C, and then body, Command B. Oh my God, you can do that. And here, this one, it should be a white background, so I don't need this subclass anymore, so I'm going to remove it. And now I want to move these elements from each other. So all I have to do is just go here and put this one over here. And rename this to images, feature images. Images overlapped. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you're better with this naming conventions. I'm horrible at this, but I'm sure you can do much better than me. By the way, this guy, I think it needs a little bit of padding. So let's give 16 pixels here. Let's give it 16 pixels on the right, and that way here now there's some spacing between these elements, and there's some spacing between these elements. So the text and the images are not smashing together. And although matching sometimes is nice, not in this case though. So let's get rid of these images. We don't need them anymore. Goodbye, images. Thank you so much. You did great. Now let's add more images. We have the background. We have, so yeah. Let me break it down so you can see it on Command C. And let me put it over here so you can see what's going on. We have 3 images here. We have this one over here. We have this one over here. And we have this one over here. So pretty much the same as before. This one is on the top center. This one is in the bottom center. And then the background is just in the center, okay? So let's add them over here. So image 1, image 2, image 3, okay? Let's replace these with, first of all, I think we should do the background. Let's do the background. Now let's do the UI. The UI, let's replace this image with a UI. It was this little UI. And now let's replace the other image with the little doggy. The doggy dog. A doggy dog. Snoop doggy dog. Snoop doggy dog. Da 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 da. Okay, sorry. I think I'm gonna get a copyright strike just by singing this. This is, there you go. Now it's fixed here and it's fixed here. I changed the orientation of my flexbox in case you didn't notice, just so it looks a little bit better. Okay, cool. So now let's change this guy to be absolute positioning, just as we were doing before, and let's put it in the center. So it's going to be auto, 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 auto. And there you go. Now it's center, center, center. Let's put this guy on the top. So position, where is it? Where's the position? I don't need all these guys right now. They're just distracting me. There you go. Position, absolute positioning, and let's put it on the top. There you go. And let's change this to auto, and then auto, and that way it's centered. And then let's change this little guy to the bottom. Position, absolute, and let's put it to the bottom right. There you go. Now it's looking not that great, but we can fix that. Number one, let's go back to our design, and apparently these are different. The size of this, oh man, sorry about that. I don't need these guys. The size of this, it should be 520. So I'm going to put one subclass of 520, and I'm going to say that the max height is going to be 520. 520. Hey, 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 look at that. Look at that. The image is looking great. I think that's what we wanted. You know what? I kind of like it 0 on the left. That way, it's a little bit more balanced, you know, because this guy is balanced to the bottom right. The other one should be on the bottom left. You know, yeah, visual design stuff. And yeah, look at that. How incredibly easy it is to do this. Come on, my friends. Once you start using going from your static design into Webflow using this tool, you're never gonna be able to go back. It's like gaining a superpower. It's amazing. Okay, so let's go back to the next one. The next one is this. This one is a little bit different. This one, the image just takes the whole space. I think on this one, I think I'm going to use, I'm trying to see how to do this one. I think I'm going to use the image as a background, and I'm going to position it to the left. Should I do that? Yes, position it to the left and centered, and then a background color just as it is right now, and then the other part, the text, is just going to be floating in the middle to the right. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. If it doesn't work, we can try something else. It doesn't matter. So okay, so let's go back to our design. Let's, just as before, let's add. I'm going to create a new section for this one. I'm not going to be reusing the same section because this one is going to have a background color and an image background. So it's better to just like create a new one, okay? And this one is going to be called full BG section. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me, okay? Don't criticize my naming conventions because I know you're bad, and I'm sure you are better at this. Okay, so I changed the size, the height to 100 VH. Now let's change the background color to this guy. This guy is like a seafoam, or what is this? I don't even know what this color is. I'm colorblind, so sometimes I have problems with colors, but don't tell my boss. Okay, cool. So let's change the color of this. Come on. Change the color of this to this hex code. Look at that. It looks beautiful. And now this little guy is called full reading. That's the image. But before I do that, yeah, let's add it as a background. Let's start adding it. So here I can add an image as a background. So by the way, I just press here and press plus here, and then I was able to add an image as a background. And then here you have multiple. You can add a gradient. You can add an image. You can add a radial gradient, which sometimes is exactly what you want. That's not what I want right now. I want an image, and it's the one that is reading. So let's go search for that image. It looks like I didn't export it. I did not export that image. So, okay, let's go through that process of exporting our image from here. I'm going to actually copy it from here. I'm going to paste it over here. And then I'm going to export it from here, okay? So it's going to be an SVG, and it's going to be called full reading. I'm going to go over here, assets, and now you should be able to have this one too, okay? And I removed it from here because it was being cropped by the artboard, so I just put it out there and then export it from outside. That way I don't get a cropped image, okay? So I'm going to upload it, full reading. There you go. This is what you would usually, that's a process you usually go with every time you want to bring an asset from your design tool into Webflow. Look at that. I'm really liking this background. And oh my God, what happened here? Looks like the SVG didn't render that well in the export. Don't worry, I also have it in Sketch, and I'm pretty sure that in Sketch is going to potentially do a better job exporting this. So let me see what's going on here. Yeah, by the way, on your assets, you should be able to also see this file there. Okay, so you should be able to see this file too. If you want to, instead of InVision Studio, you want to use this file, you can use that. Okay, let's go to assets and let's export the full reading one. It says replace. Yes, I'm going to replace it, and I'm going to go back to my file, and I'm going to upload again full reading. And this one looks like now it's working. There you go. Now this one is working. It looked like that there was a glitch in the matrix. Okay, so we have it here. Right now it's a pattern. It looks very nice. It looks pretty nice, but not exactly what we want, right? But you can say that it is brutalist design, and I don't know. It's back to the 90s. I don't know. Okay, so hold on. Let's do cover. No, that is too big. Now let's do custom. And let's say that, oh, look at that. That looks pretty nice, right? That is exactly, I think, what we wanted. Almost there. Let's say that it has a 10% and 5% on the left. There you go. So it's not exactly all the way to the left, but it's still going to be a little bit more fluid. So let's 8%. 8% I think is going to be good enough. That is not also too close there. It's getting there. Now let's add our content in. We haven't even added any blocks, any div blocks, any text, nothing. We just added as a background image to this container. That's what we did. We only created a section, and then inside the section we did all of this stuff. Now let's add, we want a container. Yes. And now we want a div block. And we want, we have a heading, paragraph, and a button. So So we have a heading, paragraph, and a button. That's our content right now. And for this guy, I think we already created a class, so let's just call this one the button. I think we already have this, so let's just use body. I think we can change this to H3 and it should have the same styling. And there you go. Now let's change the content of it. This should be wabi sabi, which I don't know if you are interested in wabi sabi. I highly recommend looking into wabi sabi. It's just like it's a philosophy. I suppose it's like a philosophy that is coming from Japanese philosophy that about imperfection and the aesthetic of appreciating things that are not perfect. How beautiful is that? Like seeing the beauty in things that like get old and then get used, and seeing the beauty in them because they carry a story and they carry some value by that. I don't know. I'm not explaining it great, but I invite you to check it out. Okay, so let's go back to this one. This one, it says dip block. I'm going to call this dip block 2. I'm gonna rename it to text. Rename it to tag copy div copy block. Okay, that's what I'm going to call it. That way I can use it. And now I'm going to say that my content has to be my container. I'm going to use flexbox to center both. And it looks like it's still here, but we want to apply some flexbox to this container too. And if we want to align it to the right. And there you go. Now it's there. How dope is that, my friends? It's dope, I'm telling you. Okay, so I changed the percentage here on the left to 10%. This is looking pretty good. This is looking almost like my design. And this is potentially too far. The thing is that when it's the desktop is too big, then it goes way too much into the left. How should we fix that? So instead of 8%, should we do something different? Potentially. No. Yeah. This guy. Let's change the background. So here, instead of 10%. Let's do 20%. Yeah, that's looking better. Yeah, 20%. 20%. Let's leave it at 20%, and let's not care too much about the details. This is one of those things that you're good. This is where you spend most of the time. It's just like fixing those little things because I don't like it how it looks just exactly like that. I want it to look exactly like my design, and it's gonna take a while. So perfection takes time. So, but right now we're not aiming for perfection. We just want it to be good enough. Okay. So we have this section. Let's do another one. Next one is going to be I think we can use. I mean, to be honest, this can be done with Flexbox, but I was debating if we should use Grid. But you know what? Screw it. Let's use Grid only so we can show how to use Grid in Webflow. Okay. So again, you don't need to use Grid, but let's use Grid. Okay. So it looks like we could have one block that is holding on my title, and then have 3 blocks that is in 3 columns. So my grid is going to be, I think it's going to be one column 1, and then row 1, row 2. Those 2 rows is my grid. Let's change this so we can see what the hell I'm doing. And then I'm also going to make it 3 columns. So it's going to be around this, and around this, and around this. So it's going to be 3 by 2. 3 by 2. That's going to be the size of my grid. Okay. I don't need this. This is just for us to visualize what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to go back to my design over here, and I'm going to add a little section. Let's add another section. And this section, I'm not going to use 100 vertical height. I'm going to be, I'm going to actually be using this little thing that is some spacing here. 130. I'm going to use padding instead of using vertical height. So the content and the padding is going to determine the size of my section. Okay, so this is going to be obviously a new section, and it looks like my padding inside it was 136 pixels here, 36 pixels here, and 136 pixels here. So if I scroll down, now you see that it looks like there's nothing in there, but there's a padding, 136 and 136. Now let's add a section, a container. Yes, and this container right now, this is just a container, and I can change the display settings to grid. That is one way to do it. I could have also, inside this container, add a grid, which would be a container inside the container. But we already have the container. We can just make it grid. So let's just make it grid. So it's two rows. That's what I want, but I want more columns. I want it to be 3 columns. That way it can hold my 3 elements. Yes, so let's go back here. Let's see it on Studio. Yeah, same thing. So, okay, we have that, and let's go back here. And by the way, we're going to be creating one box, and this one box is going to be is going to be spanning to 3 columns. That's how we're gonna do it. Okay, so let's add. So there you go. Now I'm done with my grid. No. I double click outside, and now I can start adding content. So I'm going to add a div log, and there you go. This div log, it's spanning to 3 column, 3 span, and 1 row span. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted, and I want it to be manual. Okay, so there you go. That's going to be my first block, and then I'm going to add another block, div log, and this one is going to be holding my image and my these 2 things. So here I'm going to start adding some elements. So image, then heading, and then paragraph. So there you go. Now I'm going to change this image to be the one that is dancing, this little guy dancing. There you go. How are you doing, my friend? Let's change this little guy to this text, and let's change this text to this text. Okay, and let's change the level to H3, although this one is more like H4. So let me change it to H4. Yeah, H4, and then let's change this to, is this copy? No, this is just text. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And and I'm going to change, actually, I'm going to do something that I should have done before. I'm going to change in the body, out of the body level, I'm going to change the typography. And I'm going to change it to 16 pixels. At a body level, I'm going to say HTML tag, all body tags. So 16 pixels, and then 1.5 EM. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So let's see if it affected all this stuff. No, it's all good. Okay, so this div block, I'm going to say that it's center, just as we did before, remember? There you go, center, and now it's looking good. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It looks like it shouldn't be H4, it should be H3. No, that's too big. Let's do H4. Oh, I think I haven't installed my H4s. Let's do H4s. H4s should be 24 by 30. Let's go back to over here and see if H4s are, no, 27 by 36. So let's change this to 27 by 36. There you go. So there you go. So we have our first div block, and I'm going to say that this is a feature block. That's what I'm calling it. And then I can say Command C, Command V, Command B, and there you go. It gets placed automatically, and now I can just replace the images of these guys. The thing here is that with Grid, automatically puts the elements where they should be, and that's why this is happening. Okay, so it's not exactly what I wanted. I'm going to go back to this. I need to do something here. I need to put this image as actually as a background. So I'm going to call it feature. No. I'm going to add a div block, and then that div block, I'm going to put the image inside it. Okay, and so I'm going to use it as a background instead of just the image. So I'm going to call it feature image. Okay, and I'm going to remove this guy. And then here, I'm going to say that the minimum height should be maximum height. It should be 224. So, boop, 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 boop. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, minimum height, 224. Yes, and now I'm going to apply the image as a background. So I'm going to add this image as a background. I'm going to choose the image to be this little guy. And I'm going to say that it's contained. It contains and it's centered and it doesn't repeat. There you go. When instead of cover, when it's cover, it crops. It will crop to the size of the container. But when it's contained, it will not crop. It will just like try to fit the image to the container without cropping. That's why we chose contain instead of cover. Okay, so we got it. It's looking better. And now we can do the same as we did before. Command C, Command B, Command B. And now on this one, I'm going to add a subclass. So this is going to be called 2. And I'm going to change the image. So choose the image to be, which one was it? The little guy that is just chilling. So the chilling dude. And then the other one is the woman that is, I'm going to call it 3. And then the woman that is just like chilling too. Everybody's chilling. There you go. The chilling woman. And that way, the thing is that the images had different heights, and I didn't want it to be like a height difference and just some titles being higher than others. That doesn't work with us, my friends. So this was one trick of it. I could have also used absolute positioning. That would have been another way to do it. But no, I don't want to do that. Sometimes it's you will find out that it's very common to be able to get the same result with heading, with different techniques. Same result, different techniques. Isn't that beautiful? So the possibilities of getting something one way or getting another way are always there. Okay? So you know what? Something that I want to do, I'm going to change the styling of the whole grid to be aligned center. And that way, I actually don't need the feature block to be, I can remove this styling. And it's already coming from the grid because I already need this styling to be centered too. Okay, so let's change this to H2. Let's change this to copy the style. Copy. There you go. Did I not? 47 is 47, 52. It looks like I haven't styled my H2 heading. So 47, 52. Look at that, my friends. This is looking great. We already have this section. This section apparently needs a background color. Let's copy this. Let's go over here. Let's add a background color to it. And there you go. Now it's looking like my design. It's looking nice. We're almost done. And then we've been doing this for almost an hour, but we already did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections. That is an accomplishment, my friends. I think I'm not going to do this, okay? I'm going to skip this one. This is going to be homework for you. But I'm going to do this one because this one is a little bit different from the other ones, and I think it deserves to have its own show. Let me go back to the comments to see if everyone is still here. It's an awesome, powerful tool. Gridded contains like fill proportionally. Why not upload the image at 2x for high DHP screens? Love that section. I'm actually uploading them as SVG, my friend. So no need for a 2x because they're SVG. All my comments just to know some Bitchin' Studio killing it with SVG. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, that was that great. Glitch in the matrix. I love that. Grid it. Looking pretty good. Okay, my friends, let's continue. We're almost there. We're almost finished. Let's do this one. So let me explain before I design it. It's something that I always love to do before I jump into like putting things together. I have to imagine how is this going to be built. Right now, I'm in the design tool, and I need to know how is this going to be built. And I can see, number one, that this little guy is not really following the grid. It's not following how this. I want this. So let me actually move this section over here so we can see what I want this to do. Okay, so if I were to, I don't know, make this section, I don't know, let's say that it's a bigger screen. So let's say that it is a bigger screen. Then if it is a bigger screen, I want this guy to center, and I want this image to also center. So how do we do that? Number one, we need to export this as an image that is wide and then put it as a background. And then this guy, and then, before that, the section needs to have two blocks inside it. They're half and half. You know, there's not going to be a container because the container is just going to be containing them. And these blocks don't want to be contained. They just want to take all the space. So they're going to be taking 50% to one side and 50% to the other side. And then I'm going to put the content inside it. As you can see, this guy, the size of it, it's fixed. But I want it to be the position of it, to be dynamic, to be fluid. So I'm going to make another box that is containing this text and this button, and it's just going to be with flexbox aligned to the center and to the middle. And I think we got it, right? We got it. We got this. Let's go back to our Webflow and let's do this. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to add one more section, the last of the sections. And I'm going to change this. This is going to be a different... Do I need to do? I think we can use this one, the BH section. Yeah, we can reuse it. What is going to be different is the content inside it. The section, we can reuse this section and it's going to be just fine. Okay, so let's add a div block. Let's add inside this section another div block. And let's start doing our magic. So the magic on... And I think we can use the same class on this. We're just going to use a subclass for one of them. And it's going to be called halfsies. Don't use my naming conventions, okay? Learn from me. Don't do what I do. This is going to be 100% height. There you go. And it's going to be the width of 50%. Look at that. And then this little guy is also going to be halfsies. Halfsies. There you go, halfsies. So now we have those two sections here side by side. Okay, and I'm going to say that they're flexbox and they are aligned to the center. Okay, and that way my containers inside are going to be in the center. And now this one is going to be it's going to have a subclass which is going to be called image. And on this subclass, I'm going to add, number one, I'm going to add an image. Let's choose the image. And it's this image. And I'm going to say over here, number one, the position is centered. So over here, now it's centered. And I'm going to select this little guy that says cover. We got this. We got it. We got it. We got it. Oh, baby, we got it. We got it. Why are you not going to the other side? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong, my friends? Being very annoying, I'm sorry. Why is this guy on the left? I want it to be on the right. What am I doing wrong? Oh, it's because it doesn't have any content. The other one. That's why. So halfsies and halfsies, they're both here on the left. Why? Maybe it's because of the position is relative. And this is should be also no, not absolute. Why did I change it to absolute? I did not want to change it to absolute. This shouldn't be absolute. This should be relative. Image theta. Apparently, there was this thing that was called image. It was another class that already existed, and I was using a class that already existed, and I think I probably broke something over here. No, it doesn't look like it did. I don't know. Something was happening that didn't want it to happen. So I'm just going to redo what I was doing before, okay? And that's what was causing some problems. So now we should be able to, there you go. Yeah, there was some conflict with classes, and that's what was happening. As one of these, this little guy was being positioned absolutely crazy things. When something crazy like that happens, just close your computer, throw it in the trash, and just like say, I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. It didn't want it. It didn't obey me. So it's going to the trash. Okay, so let's go back over here. We have a container and we want to add, actually, we can just use this little guy. Let's just copy this block and let's put it inside it. Not perfect. Not exactly what I wanted. Let's oh, you know what's going on? I think I know what's going on. I'm going to copy this one instead of. So, yeah. So it is at 40%. That's the width of it. So we don't. You know what? Sometimes when you are trying to be lazy, you end up working double. That's a saying we have in Mexico. Lazy people work double. That's what we say. So I wanted to save myself some time, and I did not. I was only making myself work double. So let's just create a new one. Content blog 2. There you go. So there you go. Now instead of this one, it should be a button. So let's add a button, and it's called. Let's use the button class. Yo, not butt. I do want a class that is just called butt, and it adds a background of butts. So okay, let's review it. Oh my god. There you go, my friends. That's it. That's pretty much it. We got it. So we haven't done responsive. Responsive is going to be a different thing. Potentially we can do another live stream where we turn this in. No, hold on. We have time. Let's add animation. Whoa. Okay. Or no? Should we skip the animation? Or what do you think? Should we add scroll-based animation? I'm going to wait for your answer. Should we add or no animations? I think you're going to say yes. I think you only got in here because of that. So let's do it, okay? Okay, nobody's replying. So here is the thing about adding, we're going to be doing scroll-based animation. So I want to be able to, like, when I do this, I want this guy to rotate, just like the coffee is falling apart. And it's also like and also add a little bit of parallax. So some of the elements are moving slower or faster as I scroll. Okay, and it creates that effect where some things overlap and it's just like, I don't know, like some things look like further away. Like for example here, like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what you're seeing, but hopefully it makes sense to you. Let's see. Do it. Animate. Yes. Yes. Okay, I got to go. I got the green light from you. Let's do this. So that's one. I want to rotate this, and I want these to kind of overlap. The one that is further away to move slower, and the one that is closer to you to move a little bit faster, and then the ballet dancer to move even faster because it's closer to you. The same here. And this guy, I don't know. Let's say that it grows when you scroll. And these guys, I'm not going to animate this one because it's going to be too much. Well, no, actually, I do have an animation that is going to be fun for this. Okay, let's just start with this one. But these one are not going to be scroll-based animations. They're going to be page trigger animation where the page is scroll-based, but more like a scroll, not while scrolling, but when the page. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's going to be okay. Okay, cool. So this little guy. So to do this, you want to go to the interactions panel. So here in the interactions panel, we have different ways to animate for element triggers. So if you want hover or click or something when you play around with an element and something happens, that is the element trigger. Not what we want today. We want a page trigger. And with the page trigger, you can add different types of triggers. You can add page load, moves, the mouse moves in the viewport, page scroll, which is the one that I was telling you about the columns, and while page is scrolling. This is the one that is going to be adding some scroll-based animation. So I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to say, what is an action? Well, I'm going to play a scroll-based animation. I don't even know why you have this option. There's only one action. Just say that it's going to play the scroll animation. Why do you make me select this? Webflow, just skip this, okay? This is from me with love. Okay, now let's say, let's scroll animation. Let's press plus. We're creating a new animation. As you can see here on the right, it looks like a timeline. This is our timeline, but instead of timeline, it's more like percentage line. Because if you see here, instead of seconds, we're using percentage, and this percentage is the size, the height of the page. So as you're scrolling, where are you on the page, on the height of the total height of the page, and it's going to create an animation as your viewport is changing and you are reaching that percentage of the page. Okay, is that mixing them? Something like that. Hold on. So select it. Yeah. That's my explanation. Somebody potentially has a better explanation. So let's add the first one. I press plus. I'm going to say that it rotates. So rotate. And it starts at up here on the C position. Let's say that it starts at minus 20 degrees. Minus 20 degrees. And I'm going to say that at 40% scrolled, I'm going to say that it keeps rotating up to 0 degrees. Okay, so let's preview it. I'm going to turn it on. And I don't need the guy. Why are you doing that? Minus 20 to 20. Okay, so let's preview it. See, it's rotating, baby. It's rotating. It's rotating. And actually, instead of 0, let's say 20. So it's going to be 40 degrees. It's going to be rotating. So now it's a little bit less subtle. Look at that. And if you want it faster, well, get it closer. And now let's preview it. And now it's faster. Just a little bit faster. You want it slower, then you just move this. Now it's it starts with 0, so it doesn't move exactly, and then I'm going to say that it moves 80 pixels, so it moves a little bit faster. No, let's make it more, and then I'm going to move this guy over here. Let's preview it, and it's pretty subtle, so let's make it 200 pixels. Let's see, less subtle. See how now the foot also overlaps with the title. Let's preview it over here. So it's not only rotating, but it's also the position of it is changing. Let's make it less subtle. Don't make it a subtle. Subtlety is for dummies. See, now it's less subtle. It is a little. I kind of. Neither you or me, okay? 250 wow. Yeah, 250. So let's see. Yeah. I like it. That's pretty fun, right? So there you go. Now we added our first scroll-based animation. Let's do the same with this little guy. Let's say that around here, let's see, the animation should start at around 2%. Let's just start at 0%. So this guy, let's say that it moves, and then it moves a little bit faster. It moves on the Y position from let's say that it moves from 100 pixels and it moves all the way to minus 100. Yes. So let's see what happens. And no, this image tree, and let's say that it starts at keyframe 2, and let's preview it. See how this guy is at a different speed than the background? Oh, it's happening. It's happening, my friends. Let's preview it over here. This guy's rotating and this guy's dancing. It's really subtle, but it's there. I hope you're able to see it with the stream. Okay. Let's go back over here. Now let's do the background. I'm going to leave this one almost as my base. I'm not going to move the layer in the middle. That way, what's moving is what's on the foreground and on the background. Okay, so on the background, I'm going to select this guy, and I'm going to say that it also moves, and I'm going to say that it moves potentially a little bit. It starts at 0, and then it moves to 100. Yeah, so that way it will create this effect where it looks like it's static. See how it's almost like it's staying there behind, and I'm going to make it less subtle just so we can see it. 180. Let's see it. I don't know exactly if that's the right way to do it. I think I'm liking it how it's looking. It's up to you to just like play around with it and make it less subtle if you want to, or more subtle, or potentially changing the levels of how these these elements should move. But this is the basic of how you add these elements. Let's add. This one would be the same as this, so I'm not going to do it. Let's add a different one with the background of this element. No. Let's add this one. This is going to be this is not going to be a scroll-based animation. It's going to be different. Well, it's going to be a scroll-based animation, but it's not while the page is scrolling. So here on the page trigger, I'm going to add a new trigger that is going to say page scroll. When the page is scrolled to a certain place, this thing happens. So I'm going to say that these blocks, I'm going to the feature block. I'm going to say that page scroll, select an action, start an animation, and I'm going to say that what is the animation that it starts. I'm going to add a new one. It's going to be called uncanny animations. And on this one is actually on time, not on percentage based. So I'm going to say that it, hold on, am I doing it right? Yeah, this is one way. Uncanny animation, because I could have just added, no, it's not what I wanted. Forget I did that. Now, uncanny animations. Okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say that this element, the feature block, is going to rotate. I don't know why, but to say that it rotates like that, and it adds a rotate of 0. There you go. So it starts rotating and then it rotates to this. So let's preview it. Oh my God, this is potentially really bad. Let's apply it to the class. So now, yeah, this is looking horrible. Yeah, let's scroll up. Let's scroll down. Let's see how it looks. I actually don't even know. Ah, this is not what I wanted. This is totally not what I wanted. Okay, well, we learned something new. This is not exactly what I wanted. So what's happening is that when I scroll up, this happens. And when I scroll down, when I start scrolling down, then the other animation happens. But not, no, I want it to be when the pages scroll, and it's actually when it should be when scroll into view. That's what I wanted. Scroll into view. That's exactly what I wanted. Sorry. And we can here we can add really dope animations. Like for example, let's say that it flips. And before I do that, I want to actually just go back to page trigger. I don't like this page scroll. I'm going to remove it. Okay, so in scroll into view, it's going to say that it flips. Preview it. Look at that. And this should be being applied to the class. So feature block. So let's preview it. Look at that. They flip it. But we can change it to grow, for example. Let's preview it. So once let's preview this. So when I scroll into view, see? Let's preview it again. I scroll, and when those elements appear into view, they just animate. And it has all these cool presets that I can use. Grow big. So let's say, whoa, did you see that? Let's see it again. Let's see over here. And I start scrolling, and oh my God, they scroll big. And you can change this speeding curve, I think, or not. No, you cannot. You can say that grow in, grow out. Anyway, that's one way to do animations too. And that's it. That's it for today. That's 1 hour and 20 minutes that we spent here. Make it jiggle. We dare you. Okay, let's make it jiggle. Somebody wanted to jiggle. Grow big instead of grow big. Let's say jiggle. Where's the jiggle? Yes, emphasis. Let's go over here. Let's preview. Yes. Let's loop it. Can you loop it? Can you? No, you cannot loop it. When scroll out of view, no, I don't think it can do. Yeah, there you go. So let's preview it again. Let's see that jiggle. I love when people ask me to do crazy stuff like that. Make it jiggle. Are these animations HTML5? Yes, they are HTML5. They're CSS. They're dope. Okay, thank you, Ermin, for making it jiggle. So I'm going to change my view here. I think that's it. We did it. We did a full-on site. I'm going to publish it so you can see this publish thing. And I'm going to add a link here on the comments. Let me add it here in the comments. So you can see now I just pasted the link on the comments, and I'm going to add it to the description of this video too. But pretty much just wanted to say, well, thank you. We learned how to go from a static design into dynamic design, turning or starting design into HTML and CSS and putting it on the web. How freaking crazy is that? And we did it in 1 hour. We just did a full landing page in 1 freaking hour. So it's dope. I think whenever I started using Webflow, I felt like, damn, I have a new superpower. This is amazing, and I wanted to tell everyone. And whoever I have told about this tool, and then when they have actually used it, they have realized this is crazy. Something that I have seen is that a lot of people are actually changing their freelancers, or they have an agency, and they have been able to change their model, where they were potentially using WordPress or were using another tool like that, and they're like, we don't need that anymore. And because, by the way, Webflow gives you the ability to just add content managers, so they can people that can change the copy, they can change the collections on the CMS or the e-commerce, so you can give access to people to do that. So you have content managers. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, hopefully we were able to go from pixels to code.